Hi, it's Martin in from Muller's Boxing Media. Delighted with our next guest, Mali Wright. Mali, number one, Mali Wright. We've finally got there. We've done quite a few. Intros, but now we can have a full one.
Yeah, we got a bit of time today. Signal's good today.
Yeah, signal's super. That's been the over the past couple of years. That's probably been the one annoying thing. I'll probably say signal. When I do these zooms, but we're not too far away.
My first Zoom call is to be fair. I've never done one.
Oh no, superb. I feel privileged. 13th of November, Saturday 13th of November, out in your second bout on a packed undercard. Reece Mould also on the card as well.
Yeah, he's headlining. Yeah,
things are starting to move for you now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, like to get that quick turnaround because I don't like waiting around. So the quick turnaround is good for me. And then like it was a dream come true fighting on Josh's undercard. But I've been watching Reece Mould since the amateurs. I've still got like the amateur book from when he fought in the ABAs. And then a few of my pictures from my last fight, I see him just sat in the corner because it was my fight started earlier last time. So not many people were there. I saw Eddie Heard, Steve Wood was watching, and then I saw Reece Mould. He was like intrigued. And I get on with Reece. I saw his last fight on that Fight Zone show. So I just feel privileged to get to fight on these guys' undercards and show what I can do.
That's the thing. It's perfect though as well because like we all know Yorkshire boxing at the moment is absolutely thriving, and there's shows left, right, and centre. So like, especially with your coach and manager Nick, you know for a fact that he's going to get you on as many shows as possible. But you also know for a fact that he's not going to get you any walkovers.
No, to keep telling him that I don't want any walk. I just because obviously I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not old, but I'm not a spring chicken. I just want to get in there and. Because I've sparred if you look real, the top 10 light heavyweights in the country, I've sparred them all and I've never felt out my depth. So I just feel like I don't mean I need to go into a British title fight straight away, but I don't want any easy touches. Like the guy I fought in my last fight, he's been fighting experienced guys. So the guy who fought before me, Reece Cartwright, who was former IBF youth world champion, had 25 odd fights. Before that, he fought Isaac Chamberlain, who's a heavier guy. So it's just good to be fighting that. And then I think I stopped in the earliest. I think Chamberlain stopped him in 3, Cartwright stopped him in 4. But after 2 rounds, he didn't want to have anything to do with me. So I just want each fight to be a step up.
Yeah, 100. I'll be totally honest. When I found out you was fighting Anthony, because he's from my neck of the woods. I've seen him on the scene, and he'll probably be honest. Sometimes he'll turn up to fights and not look in shape. He looked in shape. He looked like he was coming to win. And the way you stopped him in the second round didn't stop him like somebody who's on the first fight. Second round, wasn't he?
Yeah, second round he quit after the second.
You didn't stop him as in like threw loads of punches and the ref jumped in. You stopped him because you worked him. You worked body, head, different angles. It was a really, really good stoppage. And I messaged Nick and I was like, mate, I was so impressed with that stoppage considering that was your first fight.
Yeah. Well, I've been boxing a long time and obviously through the pandemic, it's bad that I didn't get to fight sooner because I was still doing my amateurs. Like literally I weighed in for the ABA championships. I think it was a Friday and then the Saturday, but we was in lockdown and everything got called off. So literally it was I was a day away from fighting and the pandemic kicked in. So it's just good that Steve Wood's putting on shows again. I think this will be his first show in Leeds, so I'm getting a lot of firsts. I was the first person ever to fight in Headingley. And then I'll be on Steve Wood's show first. I don't think I'll be fighting first because there's a few people making the debut. But yeah, all the guys on the card I get along with. And hopefully we can just put on a good show and then bring it back to Leeds again.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we were speaking off air the other day. When people normally make the debut, it's normally a small horse show and there's loads of tickets and like the big ticket, the main ticket seller, and it's against an opponent that's there just to be walked around. Not Mali Wright, it's at Headingley Stadium on Josh Warrington undercard for like one of the biggest fights of his life. Big, massive stadium, outdoor stadium, match room, DAZN, You don't do it. You don't. You literally.
Nah, we don't
You made an entrance.
But to be fair, that's thanks to Steve and Nick, to be fair, because I was asking to get out earlier because me and Steve, we spoke. I think I meant to meet Steve in March of that year. And he was like, it was not confirmed with Josh yet, but there was some talks about it. But I was trying to get out as early as possible. I'm like the one that's full steam ahead. But then this came around and it just perfect timing. Like, even before the show got fully announced, me and one of my good friends, we spoke about me potentially fighting in Headingley, and then it's just weird how it all worked out. So I think it's a bit of fate, a bit of destiny there.
Is it going to be hard? Let's be honest. Is it going to be hard coming from a show that big down to like a small hall show? As Nick said, that not to expect what you. Obviously, you're not going to expect it, but like the atmosphere and everything else is going to be completely different.
Yeah. To me, I think it's better going from the big stage and then coming back down to reality, because then now I've experienced the highest high. So now when I'm on that stage, it's like, there's not a lot of pressure. Like, for some reason, I wasn't actually nervous at all for that fight. Amateur fights, I don't get nervous until I hear it's my turn to come out. But usually I get a bit of like, not shaky legs, but I can feel my legs out steady, and then it's like, it's go time. But this time round, for my first pro fight, there was literally no nerves whatsoever for some reason. So going back down to the small hall show level, I think that going from there, it'll suit me, and then I'll be ready for both scenarios. It's not like it's got to my head and I feel like I need to be big time now. I just feel like, all right, yeah, you've lived the high life a bit. Now it's time to put the groundwork in and go. So I kind of ran, and now I'm gonna go back to walking.
Yeah. Well, these are the ones what you want, these small shows, because these are the ones where you get found out. Like on the big ones, it's good for you, but like not many people will remember let's be honest, you were first on the bill. Like everybody was there, they got to see Max Hughes become world champion, and that unfortunately with Josh Warrington. But they'll have heard about what happened, because not many people would have been in the ground. But the small
as well, because it started early as well. So originally I was supposed to be on at 5:30 and doors open at 5. But for some reason on the day, they changed it to I'm going to be on at 5 and doors open at 10 to 5. So a lot of people that did get tickets to come and watch me ended up missing it or only seeing like one round.
Yeah, but
so it's unfortunate that happened, but it's I can't complain really. But hopefully this time around, when everyone comes, I get to see the full show.
Yeah, exactly. And it's small shows, like the atmosphere. It'll be inside like a venue where you really feel the atmosphere, and
it's close. Everyone's closer together. Everyone's
they're amazing, and like you said, and also having Nick in your corner as well. That's got to be such a benefit for yourself, because I've seen Nick at these events, and like you wouldn't want anybody else to speak to. He's calm with you. He lets you know exactly how it is, and they're not even his fighters. With you, I think it'd be brilliant to see, because like he's such a good guy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off you as well, because he does all the talking for you, and he gets you in, and then like there's little things that he does for you, like getting words in with certain people and letting you speak to certain people, and he provides a little network. And the boxing world's quite small. You don't realize how many people know Nick. Like I've been down to London sometimes, and quite a few people know who Nick is, and it's got me through a few doors down there. I've got to shout out my coach. I've got a coach down in London as well who is good friends with Nick, who used to box with Nick back in the day. I'm not going to say his name, because if people find out who it is, some of my opposition might try to go to him, but he's quite well known down there. And thanks to all the team who got me to this point. Nick's been there through the amateurs. Nick was actually the first gym I ever went to when I was about 15, 16. So I did get into boxing quite late compared to some of the other guys. But the workouts that it gives you, they just push you. Like the work you're doing is, so for every day I'm working, other people might have to do two free sessions to get the same amount of output I'm getting.
Mate, I've been to the gym. I've done a session with you when like you couldn't.
That was a light one as well.
Mate, you never stopped. You and what was that other guy's name?
Torrance, was it?
Torrance, literally. You must have done 18, 19 rounds. And you
he's one to look out for him. He's gonna be a problem with his old. It reminds me of Mike Tyson, especially like when you're running with him and then he goes in front of you and you're behind him. You like he's building that. It just reminds you of Tyson and the way he fights.
Matt, I've seen him. I was sitting him sparring with you, and like, is only a puppy, and obviously you was probably taking it easy, but he was good. He was really good. He was good, and look, and when they asked to push you guys, you go to different levels. I couldn't get to any other level. I was completely done. I'd only done like 5% of the workout. But what made you get into boxing?
Literally, I think it was about when I was still in high school, so I think I was about 15 at the time. And I was doing a lot of weight, so I was stronger as a kid than I am now, because with boxing you don't do as much weights and stuff. I remember like at 16 I was curling like 30 kilo dumbbells and benching 120 kilos. So me and my friends used to go down to do a lot of weights, and like in school we did football and cricket and all the sports. And my good friend Owen, his cousin, used to train with Nick, and he said, "Oh, let's go try out boxing," because you know, like kids, you try different sports. Yeah. So we went down, and thinking back to that session, I get tired now. Like, because I've never done a boxing session before, I didn't know what to expect, and it was the hardest thing. Even down to the warm-up was harder than any other workout I've done previously. Like, it was like a long run, including sprints, like picking up the pace. Then it was like, that was an hour worth of running, and then we came back to the gym and you do an hour worth of boxing. And after that, you just knackered. But after a few days of resting up, because it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after that, you get that day of rest, and then going back to on the Wednesday, you just, like, afterwards, you get, what's it called, endorphins. You get a buzz afterwards. So you don't feel it at the time, but after the session, you just get a good sleep and you're back on it. Like, afterwards, I thought, oh, I'm not doing this again. But after the rest, you're like, you know what, I need to push myself. And I wasn't any good to start with, to be fair. It's not like I started and I was excellent. I remember even after a few months, Nick what did Nick say to me? Nick said something along the lines of, "Oh, don't be telling people you're training with me when you were doing stuff like that." But I'm someone that I get motivated from those sort of comments, you know what I mean? I'm not someone that shies away from challenges. So it was just like, keep going, keep improving. And then I had my first amateur fight after, I think it was only when I was 19, so after about 2-3 years, I had my first amateur fight with Jason Gledo down at Tigers. And I stopped my opponent in the first or second round, like literally stopped him as in flew through the ropes, had to get back in the ring, and like they just said no more. So then that was a buzz to keep going. And I've won my first 15 fights. And then usually it's after 20 fights you get classed as an elite boxer. But it was my 15th fight, I boxed Ashley Vanzi or Callum, I think it was Callum Simpson actually I boxed. He won. But it was a good fight. To date, that's my favorite fight. If I find a video, I'll send you it. But that's my favorite fight to date. But it was only afterwards that I realized. Say that again, sorry.
You're good friends with Callum?
Yeah, we're good friends. We used to get a lot of sparring him. I think he's a bit scared to spar me now. But he's fighting this weekend.
Yes.
I've got a few tickets to go to that, but a few of the amateur kids are fighting on the same day. So I think Nick's going to go down with a few guys from the gym, and then I'm going to go watch the amateur show, because you know how it is with amateurs, they don't get as much support. So the more people that are there for them, the better. No, but I'm sure Callum will do all right, though. He's got loads of skills, man.
No, that's fair. So what was you saying then? So like you had your 15th fight with Callum?
Yeah, he won that one. And then I went into I think it was the Elite ABAs that year round. I boxed Ashley Vanzi. He beat me on a split decision. I'm good friends with Ashley because we were on the same uni team, because we did the university championships together. I won that 2 or 3 times. And then I had a few trials. I used to get to go down to the GB squad and do sparring with those guys. But whenever I went down to there, for some reason, they always made me spar with the heavyweights. So people that would be sparring guys like Anthony Joshua and Okoli and stuff like that. So I'd be sparring those sort of guys. I was never sparring light heavyweights. But for some reason, I never thought. Say that again, sorry.
Did you spar Joshua?
No, I've never sparred Joshua. I've sparred guys he sparred with. Lewis Williams, he's going out to the World Championships. Good luck to him. We had a few rounds. Who else have I sparred? I sparred Okoli a few times. No. I don't think I've been in touch with him. We spoke online. His dad, I talk to his dad sometimes. I've got a lot of time for his dad. I think he's from down your area as well.
Wolverhampton, yeah.
Yeah. We never sparred, but my coach, he does a bit of work with him, Jason, down at GB sometimes. I think he might be turning over soon because I always see him at Eddie Hearn shows.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's talented, Benny's.
Really, he has got a lot of skill. So,
what was you saying then? Sorry, I'll keep interrupting you. It's just because these.
That's all right. So the university championships, I'd like up to there. I won the novice classes, the class Bs. Got to the semi-finals of an ABAs, and then I went into the ABAs again the year after, and it got cancelled. I lost on a split decision in that semi-final, which, to be fair, I thought I won. Quite a few people thought I won, but it's the amateur game. It's a guy I boxed previously. First time I boxed him, I stopped him in the second round with a few body shots. But he got it on a split the next time round. And then after, I just didn't see any point sticking around on the amateur circuit anymore because there was no fights coming.
Do you find your style better in the pros than the amateurs?
Yeah, 100%. My coaches have said that from literally day one. I've got more of a pro style, suited style than amateurs. I like to be a bit flashy. I like people throwing punches at me, countering, parrying the jab. And amateurs, especially with them, even though they're on the 12-ounce gloves, but they're very top heavy padded, and you only get the maximum amount of wrapping you're allowed to use is 2 meter bandages. So when you're hitting people, it's not the same impact as when you are as a pro. Like people are getting hurt when you're hitting them as professional, and I feel like my engine, I get better as the rounds go on. So even like when I was on England camps training, I used to stay in for 6 rounds, whereas some people would be in 2 rounds, get out, boom, and I just stay in for the full amount of rounds.
In the pro games, you get to plant your feet a lot more, don't you?
Yeah, sit on your shots.
In your first fight, the way you were planting your feet. And Anthony just didn't want to know, like, no disrespect to him at all, but them shots that you were sinking in, you could just see you were meaning them shots.
Yeah. I've watched it back a few times as well, and I know what to work on for the next one, depending on who I'm fighting. Because that was my first fight since 2019, that one. And it was early 2019, so like over 2 years. So I know now what to expect and what to do. I listen to the commentary, so it's good to listen to what the commentators are saying, Darren Barker. So it's like getting advice for free, really. We're getting paid to get advice, so you listen to the commentary, what you should do.
They were complimentary, to be fair.
They were, but I'm someone I like to pick up on what they were saying that I did wrong, and work on those things. So next time,
it's pointless
I'll do that, right?
that you're good at, because it's like you said, you've got to work on the things that you've done wrong, because the things that you're good at, you know you can already do them. They just need to be polished off. Whereas the things that you're not good at, they're what you need to work on. Like
definitely, and I think I'm someone as well as my opponents get better, you see a lot more skills, because Anthony didn't throw many shots. After I hit him with a few shots, he didn't throw many shots back. So it's like someone that's more game that's going to throw some shots back. I get to do a few skills where I slip a shot and then counter. But I just think when I was hitting him, he just didn't, after a few rounds, he didn't want to know. So someone that's coming to give it. But fair play to him, though, because I watched a few of his fights previously, and he's given people hell for a few rounds.
100%, 100%. Well, he was in that prize fighter, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, the Ultimate Boxer one.
Yeah, he was in the Ultimate Boxer. But here's a question for you. What one of our viewers have asked is, if Nick turned around and says, "Mali," I was going to do his accent, but I can't do it. Mali, tell me who you want me to get you to fight. Like,
next.
Yeah, who would you choose? Just say, for instance, Nick says in about three fights' time, there's a fight coming up, say, for a British title. Who would be the dream opponent?
Ooh. Off the top of my head, British level.
Yeah.
Ooh. That is a very tough question. I don't look at opponents as such. I just know my goals as a boxer is to try and get the British title. That's my ultimate aim. Everyone says world title and stuff, but I just see that belt, and it's just something I want. I want to win it outright.
You told me that when I come up. That's what it says. Like, who would be your dream opponent for a British?
Yeah, so there's not a particular person. It just be whoever's the best at the time.
Yeah. So there's no one you look at there. Who would you like to fight? Like if you look at anyone in the ranks at the moment, who do you think I'd love to fight him because I know I could beat him and then I could elevate myself.
Oh, top of when you said that, the first name that came to mind was Callum Johnson. I like his style. He's got a bang and he likes to throw his shots. So I reckon he's someone, and he's got the experience. He's fought at world level and he's back down at British level now. So that would be a very good fight for me, I reckon.
That'd be a great name as well, wouldn't it? That on your resume.
Yeah, so if you can put, if anyone is watching, just put it to Nick, tell him to get me these guys as soon as possible.
Okay.
And I've got quite a few. I only got a few.
I love your story.
I only started getting them. It was only this year I started getting them. So I got these two in Barcelona.
What's that say?
That's hospital and graveyard. It's like the two options if I hit you.
So the right hand will put you in the hospital, the left hand will put you in the graveyard.
Other way around.
The right hand in the graveyard, and then
yeah.
what else?
So I got those in Barcelona, I think, last year. Because I went to. So after the fights got cancelled, they were still allowed to travel. So I went to Barcelona, and when we got back, literally it was lockdown. So I got those in Barcelona by a good a guy. Well, he actually did a bit of boxing training. I met him on the beach whilst with me and my miss at the time. We were doing some boxing training on the beach, and he joined in and we did a bit of a workout. And he said, "Oh, he does tattoos." And basically, a fight. My last fight before that, I had a bet with my friends that if I knocked the guy out, I get these two tattoos, which I did do. I stopped him in the second round with a left hook right hand. So I got these two tattoos, and afterwards the guy said, "Well, basically that's not the best place to start because it's unborn." But I did it anyway.
Did it hurt?
And then I got what did I get after? I got these two after. These are from Naruto, if you know, Japanese anime. They're quite spiritual as well. So it's like this one's the strongest eye you'll get. The eyes basically they're like, you know, pupils. So that's the pupil, and that's there. People thought it was a bit crazy getting them, but I watch it quite.
Got a story. If it's got a story to it, then why not?
Yeah. That's, to be fair, that's what the outfit was from that I came out to on my fight. So hopefully if the Japanese audience are tuned in, they'll get to see them. And then I supplemented that hospital. So I got my hospital, like, you know, like an NHS hospital type.
Yeah.
So if I do need to hide from it, like it's got my date of birth, my hospital number, and then Matrix Right. I don't know if you can read it.
Yeah.
And then that one, graveyard. My mum passed away in 2014, so I got her date of birth and her death date on there. And then I've got one on my neck and one on my stomach. From Jack the anime as well. No,
I like it. Well, like you said, if they all represent a story, don't they? So when you grow up, you can always say that that's for this reason. If there was any sponsors out there that they were looking to sign up a fighter and sponsor a fighter, why should they sponsor you?
Oh, because I bring excitement. Like in the ring, I'm just all for it. Like there's not one name you could put to me and I'd say no. There'd be no reason for me to say no. Like even in sparring, I remember when I first went to spar down in London with a call, he was like, "Are you sure you want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, like why would I not want to spar? Why would I like, you know what I mean? Like it's not, some people find it scary, but it's at the end of the worst thing that could happen is me being knocked out, and it's never happened before, so it's never not gonna happen now.
Yeah.
But I do have a sponsor already, Trident Fitness, who have been a massive help throughout camp. They've got facilities up in Mali, and it's just good to have someone. It's an organic relationship, so we talk quite regularly. They check up on me, come to my fight, see if I'm all right. So that's good. But why would they sponsor me? Yeah, if you just watch me fight, and you'll see, like, I bring reactions, response. And as the opponents get better, you'll see the better versions of me.
Okay. And I think you kind of touched on this earlier. What would be a successful career when you finish your last fight and you hang them gloves up and you look back and you think, you know what, I won so and so and so and so and so and so. I'm happy with my career. What would that be?
3 British titles in 3 different weight categories. I'd be extremely happy about. if I won a world title and didn't win the British title, I'd be upset.
Really?
I'd be more upset. Like, that's not what I set out to do. Like, might sound weird, but it's just the goal. Like, I'm British, so to beat the British guys, and I think with boxing is a bit too political, where it's like if you're a big name and you get to fight certain people, like look at Dillian White, he's been waiting for his shot for 3 years. I just think like there should even be like a little tournament, you know, like with amateurs where like, all right, the British champion fights the Russian champion, winner of that fights the Lithuanian champion, and just do it that way. And if me as the British champ, I can go to all these other countries and beat the each individual country's champion, and I'm a world champion in my own right.
Yeah.
So I'd be very happy. I'd be very, very happy if I could do that. And then what I'd want after that is the kids in the gym to surpass whatever I've done as a professional. That's their goal to do.
I like that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a fan of Anthony Joshua, because he fights whoever they put in front of him. He didn't need to fight Usyk. He didn't need to fight through them. You could just wait like some boxers do, but Joshua gets in there. If he loses, so be it. He goes in there again.
Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, it's a fight. Like, for some reason, with boxing, if you lose a fight, people write you off. Whereas your football team, they'll lose on a Saturday, and then next weekend they're playing again. But I think it's just because when you get to that world level of boxing, you're fighting twice, maybe once a year, twice a year. So then that O on your record gets a bit more significance. But I'm not afraid of losing to anyone. And if you're better than me, beat me. But it's going to be very hard for you to do.
No,
and I doubt you will.
Mali, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Good speaking to you again. Just keep pressuring it to get me these hard fights.
I will be. I'll be forwarding this straight to Nick.
All right, sweet.
Cheers, mate.